Of course, Vitality starting on the defender's side, where they had the slight better turn of form on this one. Haven't won the map so far this year, though. It's a re-debut for the stage. Coming out of kickoff. Starting off the pistol round already. You can see this pack of players led by Yampi through spawn, just deciding where to respond.
Chronicle needs to be careful, and unfortunately isn't, so he gets taken away as the first pick here. That Viper wall defensive one gone off the board, but Eternal Fire, they're wanting to hit towards the A site, so that wouldn't matter too much.
Yeah, Vitality have grouped up for this, of course, after Kron dropped in showers. You can see 3 bodies moved over. Deep Vice Wall used by Eternal Fire and Sands, just checking for that re-clear, but it never comes. Vitality are here, but Eternal Fire on site first.
Yeah, they are. Spike plant not being attempted, and Vitality pretty much respecting this, apart from Yampi, who was left alone in lamps, and this is an absolute rout in the pistol round. Just Profect to come back in.
1 versus 5, and the first shot is clean, but he has so much work to do. It is just not possible from this position. Eternal Fire getting the pistol, and for all the things that Des were talking about, you can see that confidence still running high.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, you get a result like you did last week, right? You're obviously going to be feeling a bit of momentum overall, right? BBL, from what seemed like last week, is one of our best teams in the region, and now looking like probably one of our worst. So it's about gauging that. Was that result as good as what we expect, or is it just a run-of-the-mill one for Eternal Fire?
I think, for what it's worth, Eternal Fire have handled that pressure really well so far, facing the 2 highest seeded teams in the group out of kickoff. It's just classics here. Vitality trying to make it scrappy, but those are the sorts of terms that Eternal Fire usually enjoy. It is Echo drop to start, but the rifle's still alive.
That's the saving grace. Spike not picked up.
Got the spike.
And Eternal Fire now start to head their way over towards B. One of the rifles all alone on short as he needs to get out of here. As you can see, Vitality want to try and hunt him down. The Neon at least has the saving grace of speed.
He's got all of the tools to bail him out, so Eternal Fire will reach a post plant on B when the spike finally arrives off the back of Ordaz. Interesting here as well, noting the composition that it is Neki on the Vice as the in-game leader, usually playing around the info, so there will be questions asked about what the calling looks like with this change in structure, of course. But that's nothing that Eternal Fire aren't used to. I think you saw the ways in which they had to develop from kickoff as a 5 playing with 2 stand-ins.
Yeah, I mean, they know exactly what they need to do. They know the system that they played in. A couple of kills here are nice, but the other thing that a lot of people won't know is that if they didn't watch the tournament, Hazard, was we did get all 5 of this, or the original roster that is playing on Eternal Fire with Soft, playing against Vitality and Clash.
Yeah, we did. Izzy, of course, when you look at the 2 teams, is the only player present on the Eternal Fire side from the last meeting between them. Vitality, their final 2 members go down to the spike detonation on B, so it's a clean anti-eco in the end. And, well, now we start to get a look in and see how exactly this defender's side wants to try and handle what Eternal Fire have been doing so far, because it speaks so much about confidence. It's the fights that they're taking right now.
Yeah, I think like the last round, we got an idea with the kind of trap placed outside of showers after Eternal Fire for 2 rounds in a row had tried to approach that part of the map. As for now, looks like Eternal Fire are going to break conditioning and start to work the B side first.
You can see Neki dropping that same Vice wall just outside of Hookah, stopping any defensive progression. Find often a map which is determined on that defender's side through its proactivity, usually at its limits in both showers and B long, as you can see Yampi starting to collect some of the information there. Prowler detects Izzy, and it looks like Vitality want in on this.
Yeah, they want to try and find something to fight. Is already Izzy and Ordaz pushed back, so nothing collected, only an ultimate orb, but Vitality will be happy with that, although they're going forward.
Yeah, Yampi just playing right up in the face of this smoke. 3 players behind, ready to pop out, and Izzy draws first blood, leaving only Profect behind. Durka trying to swoop in and support. Eternal Fire just call it in for a second.
There's still a double stack of players here. It's Derka and Prophet.
Just waiting for Fabian to arrive so they can get that flash in, tee up the play, and Eternal Fire running rampant. The bonus round all but in the bag, sparing a miracle from Kron and Sayonara, and it doesn't look like the duo are willing to risk it.
No, Rifles wanting to be kept and not looking good at all for the start for Vitality. Eternal Fire though, even though they are playing double controller with the Sentinel, these executes looking well orchestrated, right? Izzy doing excellent on these entries.
That's the other element to it as well. By the time Eternal Fire get into post, if you've got Echo's Poison Orb, like as you can see, still here, he hasn't used it. Some of those Thorns, Ordaz has his own smokes, and you can start cycling that. It becomes so oppressive to try and retake. So Vitality have to be playing for these floods, especially on that side of the map. And with Ordaz bringing Chronicle out of play in the late stages, it is just going to be the Vandal in the hands of Sayonara that escapes from T-Spawn's side. Eternal Fire getting fired up. That's 3 in a row now.
It is, and it's going to put Vitality on a pretty poor buy, although shotguns perhaps to come into the mix. And out of the pool of that we see right now of maps, this is probably the best one for the shotguns, considering we are seeing Neon, Derka on the Neon.
Yeah, it's something which he's had to really bring to his arsenal. I feel like a lot of our top duelists from the early years of Valorant have been forced to adapt, and a few have struggled. Derka, I think one of them, at least in kickoff with Waylay, for example, didn't fit. The Neon already looking much better, but someone has to frag here. I think only 2 kills on the Vitality side so far in these opening rounds.
Yeah, but it's that potential that Vitality have yet to really tap into, right?
Yeah, and it's always the potential with this team, right? You have Masters winners, Champs finalists over the years, most decorated player in VCT in the form of Kron. Sayonara just limit testing A short right now, bottlenecking Eternal Fire in. But as Izzy has made inroads through Shower, that pressure is being broadly applied, yet still Vitality unwavering in rotation.
Yeah, but that's because there's 4 strong towards the A site. You look towards B, it is so empty, and Eternal Fire, if they go for this execute, Yampi's going to be all alone.
And by the time you get to that retake, it's the same problems that I was just talking about in the post round. So Vitality take the onus upon themselves, and there's a slow re-clear arriving through the market on the attacker's side. Is it going to arrive in time? Yampi's fought a little bit with the C's, but not enough.
Yeah, just a classic here as well. But that classic is able to at least get 1. So that rifle, the stinger, the shotgun, maybe up close and personal on the B site will get something done.
Retake flipped on its head. Vice Wall does get triggered. How many players do Eternal Fire anticipate here, though?
Yeah, but what's the response after the wall being triggered? Do they take more space? The answer, no. Happy with what they've got. So they look to bolster down on the site and wait for Vitality to come to them. Remember, 1 rifle saved from the last day. We'll know about that. And as soon as the players come into the crosshairs, Ordaz completely finds them all. A 2 versus 1 now for Derka. And as good as he is, he's not able to find it. It's Ordaz with an ace.
A first ace in the VCT for Ordaz, and a first ace for any Eternal Fire player. The most consistent from kickoff, carrying it on here.
1 enemy remaining.
Eternal Fire positioning themselves well in the post plant to handle with that hookah pressure. They knew that long was a no-go. And there you have it. A consistent theme that we bring up a lot is this international attendance narrative. It gets to a certain point, especially with Vitality now at full strength in air quotes with their full lineup. When does it happen?
That is the question. A team that has suffered from the EMEA kickoff curse that we spoke about yesterday. But as for now, Vitality have a full buy. There's ultimates being sent in. Derka got 1, but very quickly it's changed into an Eternal Fire narrative. Sayo able to get 1, and that spike goes down into post.
Yeah, bit of a weird one here, Vitality retaking. 3 on 3, but every player completely split up. 2 layers to this back line. Yampi working his way up to A short, and Sayonara still holding on to Showers. Precious real estate.
You look towards the utility left on the attack. There's not a whole bunch of it. So it's up to the defensive utility. Sayonara aware of the flank, but not aware of the second. So a 2v2 now, favouring Eternal Fire. And with just Prophet now to clutch up, time low, his chances even lower, and he's thrown in the white towel, giving Eternal Fire their 5th in a row.
I mean, when does this momentum stop? It doesn't feel like Eternal Fire have let up over the last week. The BBL result, an upset to the untrained eye. But for those in the know, this is a team which we have to hold in that same high regard, cut from similar cloth. And on this execution, it's that same unwavering self-confidence in every damn duel that's hauled them through it.
Yeah, it seems as if we are going to be getting this timeout coming through for the Vitality side. Pal having to...
Just confirmation there, Ordaz with his first ace, and I mean, I said he was one of the consistent ones. If we get just a similar level of performance from everyone on Eternal Fire, it feels like the system sets that up. Necky's the prime example of a fragging in-game leader, I think.
Yeah.
Less established of a caller than Rose, perhaps regionally.
I mean,
but starting to take those plaudits now.
Yeah, I think like this core did what the BBL Pacific core couldn't, right? They came through the Premier system and straight away qualified to VCT.
That last round probably a perfect demonstration. The re-wrap in showers expertly timed, and here Vitality not with all too much. They've already removed, defaced that Vice wall in a short. So Eternal Fire start to investigate, re-clear this space and take some for their own. The only rifle in this defense has found a kill on the other side of the map though. Is he going down in B long?
But straight away, Eternal Fire evacuate because of the space that the attack's been able to grab. Look at the re-wrap.
Same time, 2 players deep in short. This is a serious issue if left unchecked. But Fabian finds both. And that is all of the worries quelled on the Fire side of things. Profek still barking away with this rifle, but there's no bite into the pit.
Absolutely nothing. I mean, this was an equal round entirely. That bucket may be causing an issue here, but it shouldn't be nothing that Eternal Fire can't deal with.
Has to be Profek though. If there's anyone to win the round from this point out, it would be him. And with the pathing already set straight towards heaven, it's a much more difficult retake than he would hope for. Fabian makes it 3. Eternal Fire make it 6.
Yeah, this is now turning into something entirely different. Minnie was talking about it a lot on the desk. I mean, the full analyst desk was that we are awaiting the final form of Eternal Fire. We didn't get it. We got something entirely different with Izzy at the forefront. And you look towards the scoreboard, it's not even him leading the line, it's Ordaz, it's Fabian, it's Echo, it's players that have been in the league and have that experience.
Yeah, it's that sort of core group, right, that we saw get the early experience in kickoff, now start to find their character on this stage. Now flipping it back to the Vitality side as they have another full purchase here. Durka bringing the operator out. Chance for them to find their feet. Profek with another opening kill. Durka also limit testing outside of A in showers. These early numbers are exactly what Vitality need, but they can't double up.
Same time though, as Durka saw one player, the other side of the map tried to work in tandem. Didn't get what they were looking for though. And Eternal Fire might be re-hitting into a lone Profek.
A bit of a reshuffle here, and as you can see, Eternal Fire looking to hit the B site. Walking up Fountain, they've left Necky detached to take this 1v1 in Hookah, a big fight which Profek has to win.
It's a big 1 versus 1. He's taking the head clean off, but there's still ultimates in play for Eternal Fire.
Still pressure from Long as well. Chronicle will be able to cycle that Viper wall and keep them oppressed in this position, but Profek, duly noted, no second layer to dig him out. And in the retake, there are ults here now for Vitality to use.
Yeah, Profek now starting to move elsewhere while Vitality get ready to bust out of CT, try and grab the attention of the main players. Oh my god, the rifle for Eternal Fire is absolutely exemplary. An advantage taken into the second half, and I'll tell you something, Vitality, they need resuscitated at this point.
7 on the bounce, it's not just an advantage, it's a statement right now. Fantastic flicks from Fabian
here. Oh my god.
To find Profek. And the guns are doing the talking. Against a team low on confidence of their own, sure, it just doesn't feel like Vitality have had a way into any of these rounds, really.
That's the big aspect to it, right? Vitality once again trying to play on the front foot on this defense, and that's the first time that an engagement has really gone their way, with Derka and Sayonara being the protagonists. So 2 to the good are the defense.
First big test for Eternal Fire in one of these rounds, down at a 2-player deficit, 3v5.
There.
But they have the numbers heading into this A site, where Chronicle is the first player waiting to receive. Sayonara with his own ult, and of course, got to be thinking about that Viper molly.
Kron taking contact. There is massive pressure on his shoulders, but unfortunately, the barrel being seen and able to get 2. A nice round from Vitality to answer straight back, but why is it taking so long?
Kron getting up on his feet, met with applause. The crowd in the venue this evening definitely catered more towards the Vitality side, that's safe to say. And this defense now entertaining the duels a little bit more, but taking them on their own terms again. You can see Vitality even doubling down, wanting to flash through and make a play here early. A full house of ultimates for them to use if they choose.
That's a big if. It's certainly something to try and narrow that gap between the 2 of these teams. And it seems as if Vitality gambling right on where they should place their players, the B side much heavier, and that's what Eternal Fire want to hit.
Vitality have been playing a 3-2 towards this side of the map most of the time. There's not a single controller here though, it's just Chronicle's wall in proxy that's got to help protect the site. Sayonara's going up in smoke, drops back into a different molly from his own Phoenix ult. But the B site is in safe hands for now. It's this transition to A, which is problematic. Neki finding one in hookah while that's all happening, and Eternal Fire actually just call it quits.
Yeah, Kron's going forward though, looking to hunt for another player. Triggers the wall, but there's nothing to find.
And he's not going to be able to bypass it here either, so as the round starts to intensify a little bit, a moment of respite for both sides. Echo still left behind in showers, and with this long control for Eternal Fire, a possibility for them to pivot back.
Post-plant would be a real issue for Vitality to try and dismantle should Eternal Fire get there because of the ultimates.
And with the A site looking weaker at the second, what is the commitment here from Eternal Fire? Into long they go, and Orda's so lucky to make it through that TP. The round may just live and die on it. Is he looking to escape and able to do so in the time being? Ordaz committing a plant to the triple box, and actually Prophet guesses wrong with his own orbital strike.
But at least he has advantage in numbers in terms of teammates.
But are they expecting Echo? No, they aren't! Up close in spawn, he'll take 2 and bring it down to a 2-on-2. Wrapping around back in short. Is he still alive here? And Sayonara, diligent enough to clear close, but now that plant becomes a problem. Is he just waiting in the corner in the wall, trying to buy a distraction, a deflection of where Sayonara wants to go? Yet to make the first move, but when the tap comes in, there's a flash to follow it up, and the young gun won't miss. Sayonara with 3, and Vitality double up.
A huge clutch in the grand scheme of this half. The fact that Vitality now have a bit of momentum at their back, they're probably going to save their economy off the back of that. I have to say though, a lot of chaos, a lot of panic on the Eternal Fire side in terms of how they played this one. The fact that you saw that there was still a Brim ulti in pocket, I thought, listen, you keep that for a post plan, it sure is done. But instead they use it to execute because of the B play on B long. But anyway, back towards this, back to the next round. Eternal Fire need to stop Vitality getting them back into this game.
It's a team with the experience of Vitality you expect to be able to punish in these chaotic situations. And, well, immediately, Eternal Fire just dives straight into the pit. Full disrespect here shown by Izzy as they've taken complete control of front site A.
Yeah, and it's a judge as well. Good horn, but not one that anybody can get a kill off the back of. The pit drops. Kron holding on to lamps, and this is the perfect gun for the job. Good flash, and the judge doesn't get any kills off the back of it. It's a disaster.
Yeah, Durka a little timid to try and follow this up. Still backside for Vitality, that's the foundation.
Oh, and Yampy just caught off guard by Bench. Now you can see Eternal Fire really starting to make it work. Durka does have his ultimate, and with no bullets left, you think that would be a good option here. But again, Vitality completely disconnected. Ordaz stuck between 2 players, and he's able to fight his way out of that. Just Sayonara now, and he's thrown about. Flashes can easily try and dismantle this, but does he even want to try and get out here? Or maybe he's just going to fight himself.
Yeah, he's just about going to be able to survive by the skin of his teeth, but nothing else more left for them here. In fact, Ordaz is chasing. I don't know if he heard the steps.
Should have an idea. This rifle important because Sayonara is the one with the most money. He can buy at least one or even two players. And he manages to keep it. That's a big pressure relief for Vitality's defense.
That's what Vitality need, right? Someone's got to crank that pressure valve and just let off some steam. Eternal Fire just showing the ability for another pace change. Quick into the pit, happy to deal with it off the back of their own Steel Garden as well. Look at you. Just doesn't feel like maybe we're seeing those adjustments right now.
Have to agree. So with that, Eternal Fire's map pick is certainly going their way. Vitality yet to play it in Stage 1. I'm not necessarily showing us the best of showings on this defensive side and need to respond after a second timeout used.
I talk about these adaptations as well. It's not just what's being said on the coach side, but how that then translates to the server. Preparation, something that this roster had talked about extensively. And well, in terms of the 8-hit, they have the numbers here. It's the strong side. And Sayonara's committing an ultimate to try and fend off those players. Can only stall it for so long. As the spike has been felled, Chronicle onto that next duel, wins it against Ordaz, and still Vitality bunkered up in backside. Eternal Fire with ambitions to fight it. The flames then fanned by Prophet finding this one.
Yeah, but the spike is down on the ground.
Stuck in the corner, Fabian again. He just seems to know where every damn Vitality player is. Izzy has a good idea, a picture now painted of both, flooding back through from showers. They will take him down in the 2v1, and a little bit more life breathed into this defense.
It seems as if Vitality had a very good plan around the A site. The fact that you saw an immediate TP to try and upset everything. A nice ulti by Sayonara to get the first one as well. But that spike in the ground is a real problem for Eternal Fire. They don't pick it up till late, and that allows Vitality into the perfect position. So with 1 round left to play, an 8-4 scoreline feels like miles of a difference to the 9-3. Vitality on the cusp of recovering this slightly.
Super aggro play down the length of Sean. No scope from Izzy. Does it get better? Seems to be the case for Eternal Fire. Sayonara really running the length of spawn side here to take out Echo.
Hello?
He's popped a pit like a
really important for Eternal Fire on this defense.
And that's what Vitality really have to do. Bleed that utility as much as possible. Don't let it have impact. So as much as you're talking about pace, it's playing around with this tempo that's going to get them the most value, the best returns against what we're seeing here.
Izzy is taking contact on long here, but it is a trap. You've got to be looking towards Fabian in the corner. Not yet known about as the players of Vitality try to escape. It's Izzy's double that really upsets this round. As Fabian gets one of his own. I think this is over before it's even started at this point in time. Double digits for Eternal Fire. That's exactly the case. 10-3 at the start of the second half.
And you're just calling it in before it even gets there, because that's exactly how it looks. Fabian's still with a flash. Izzy's already torn through a couple players. His ghost, the tenderizer. And with another pistol lost here, after suffering defeat in the first 7 rounds of their attack side, or defender side, sorry, now on the attack. I mean,
I'll show them.
looks like they are just going to go full save, play for that force. Sorry, not force, play for that full buy in the next.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want to force because you don't want to upset your chances here. That's the real issue for Vitality. You kind of either risk it all because you're essentially playing an eco against 11. Yeah, at this moment in time, Vitality really need to waken up, because we saw yesterday with Gentlemates, right? They won the last round before the switch of the kind of second half, and then that's when they really got back into the series. But this pistol round, it still felt as if Vitality had mixed ideas of what they wanted to do.
On the one hand, if this is over quickly, it means that it's an easier reset perhaps for Vitality. Just a slight technical break, perhaps getting a little too excited on the Eternal Fire side, right? I've seen a couple players, you know, stand up, foot on the headphone wire, unplug it, you know. I was guilty of that yesterday as well, to be fair. I was tripping over my own feet.
From this map in terms of a comeback, I really need to see Derka and Sayonara getting the rest of the players into that site. I think they're the ones that really need to carry that burden. We're going to see it here on B Long.
So another attacking round for Vitality. This one is just with the classics, but mowed down before they can get out of the smoke. This pack of players having no real luck thus far. Eternal Fire ushered onto an 11th, as we would expect. Maybe at the very least, Vitality can pick up a couple more orbs here for Sayonara. I think they got the one on B-Long as well.
Spike down.
I think that seems to be the aim. I think it was Eternal Fire, yeah, we've got the ultimate orb. Eternal Fire to get an in-zone flawless. So that headset obviously working out and helping, but Eternal Fire really are now staring at the finish line.
And this is the sad thing as well, right? We maybe don't get so many rounds of Vitality on their attack side here. We don't get to see what those ideas really are with this Phoenix, with it being one of a couple different meta reads that we're seeing in this second layer of Stage 1 since kickoff, and how things have changed. Sayonara is 2 away as it stands, but this is it. Last chance saloon on Bind for Vitality. If they can't pick up this round, an Eternal Fire win back-to-back bonuses, that's it. You can put it to the back of your head and start thinking about Lotus.
I mean, it has to be said, Eternal Fire don't have the best of records on Lotus, but a nice start here. One to consider perhaps Vitality to come back into at least this round.
Yumpy finds a kill beyond the smoke, and Fabian trying to reinforce that will pay the cost of his own life. If Chronicle was able to win that duel, it would have been Raps, but Izzy's just keeping them in there by a thread. 2 anchors on this side of the map, and they're charging down the charge! 2 from Echo, and a wall left behind for Neki to play off. Headshot on the first, can't follow up the second. Still winnable here though, and Profek forced to clutch.
Yeah, decides to go elsewhere towards the A side, but Izzy is close by, still has the relay bolt, still has the slide.
Profek building the bridge across to this triple box. The stun should land at his feet, but he sidesteps into the crosshairs and wins the duel when he has to. Profek many times asked to step up in the big games, and that is a big moment from him.
It's a massive moment for Vitality at this moment in time. Although it is just a drop in the larger scheme of things, we need to see Vitality start to join these rounds together, because straight away after winning this round, they're going to be asked another question with Eternal Fire having 4 rifles and an outlaw.
Is he out for punishment? 4 players that can be one-shot by this gun. Sayonara with the run it back though is one of them. He is not first involved. Is Izzy through B long as that same default molly lands at his feet from Chronicle. chip damage that may amount to nothing.
Frustrating entry. No chance for Derka to even fire back there. And it's that duel between the Vipers and Shells that we really need to keep our eye on.
Vice Wall as well on short will be tracking the progress of Vitality as Sayonara is walking up, supported by Prophet. Chronicle wins his fight, and that alleviates a lot of the issues that they would have had on Shower's side of the site. Neki right through the middle though. Timing was good as the flash was drawn from Sayonara, but he stays alive for now.
Spike planted.
It's retake with the Outlaw, no easier by those missed shots from Izzy.
Yeah, but he does have his ultimate if he wants to go and retake. Health not entirely terrible, and that's where we're just going to see a quick top up and ready to go. No flashes though on Fabian.
Money looking bad on both sides, so this round counts for a lot, and Eternal Fire want all into it. Sayonara, in fact, popping the ult to try and cause a threat here as the spike diffuse is simply tapped. It brings a couple players out of position. Defuse still happening. Ordaz in the meantime. Hands are busy. No one stopped him! A 3v5 with 3 players left standing!
Eternal Fire have put Vitality to the sword. A massive round to win because of the economy, because of the state of the game. Vitality win that. They put Eternal Fire onto an eco-cycle. At this moment in time, it's map point against a broken bye.
Man, Afro's loving life. I know he said that there was Vitality fans in the crowd. He's the Eternal Fire fan here. Hasn't had to call a timeout, just sitting and watching them as the practice is paying off. Judge, couple rifles, Bulldog in there for Vitality. One more swing at this into a deeply guarded B site.
Face your fear!
Ultimate pop straight away on the execute. Derka struggling to get to back sight, but it's Prophet instead who gets the kill. Eternal Fire
Spike
still
down,
here,
B.
but not long for this world. That spike can go down and rotate's coming in.
Yeah, not too much from the double long hold. Echo to interrupt.
Oh, he's
Last
gone a little
player
bit
standing.
cheeky though and punished for it. So the rifles that initially came in have managed to get the value.
Hey, that's the Judge.
Yeah, trying to find a Vandal, something in which to work. A 1 versus 3. Does Vitality give him the fights? Well, Derka does, but it doesn't manage to be around when Vitality responds straight back with a poor buy.
Yeah, it's a must-win round for them to stay in the map, and they've just about done it. Eternal Fire with a strong setup there. Prophet does incredibly well to find anything coming out of Hookah. Derka, his timing on the wraparound, good enough in the end. Still a gap, a chasm of 7 rounds between the teams. But these last few have shown some signs of life for Vitality. It's just still that 3v5, I think, that's the real mental boom.
Flash already finding information through long. Is he still somehow coming out with a kill? Should never have been in that position.
And he'll flash back in.
Yeah, Eternal Fire still wanting to fight, and this time they'll get Ordaz. At least one apiece in terms of players lost. That rifle's still in play though, and look at Neki. Starting to explore the map. Chronicle, the only player here to stop this.
Playing Scorched Earth with the Sheriff already. Neki has tucked into the corner at the very bottom of A short. We've got Echo posted up as well, deep. It's half of the numbers though, so can't afford to really be too aggressive on the B side. And Neki doesn't find value from his position either. Vitality all over them. Cut out of position well. Should be able to carry on for another hit.
Yeah, problems were a brewing, but Vitality able to mitigate that pretty well, win their fights. There is players low here, but it's a classic. It's not like a Sheriff where body shots would do the business. Now Vitality away! Hello! Where did that come from?
I mean, I was gonna say, Kara, you gotta look at those health bars, man. There wasn't all too much to keep them in it, but yeah,
it was
brilliant
classic.
shots. I know. Fabian still making miracles happen, and regardless of whether the round was won or not, that's further economic damage on the Vitality side.
Player standing. Did I get
Bro, what a clean round, boys. Let's go!
Yampi, of course, comedic as ever.
Yeah, and the good thing for Vitality, with that being so clean, they're starting to get, they're going through the motions, right? Ezzy, though, ready with his operator, misses his shot, not like him, and Derka getting the better of his opposite number. Still, Vitality ready to execute in, and Audaz gets a kill indirectly through his molly.
Fabian's still here early, though, spotted in lamps.
That he is, and needs to retreat while the rest of the team come through to support Vitality. They create a line, a defensive one, or even one on attack. So it's just a judge. And you don't favour Echo here. I mean, crazier things have happened. Vitality, they drop all the way back and play from short.
Echo fancies his chances here, though. He'll give this one a go. It's not going to happen for him. Gap now reduced to 5. Vitality keep putting one foot in front of the other.
And that's the reason why we're probably going to see the first time out coming through from Afro on fire. Yeah, it's just not been the greatest kind of defensive part we've seen just since this spy has been broken. Since the spy has been broken.
And that's the thing too. You look at the timeline and it just makes things all the more disappointing for him. So this, then, on paper, process of elimination, should be the easy one, right?
Should be.
Yeah. What do we got? 3 sheriffs, 2 bandits?
Eternal Fire couldn't take heads with this, could they? They couldn't bring it down to a close round.
I mean, I don't think we've seen the ecos from them so far in this map, for what it's worth. Have been a couple of shock results on lesser guns, but...
I agree, but there is 4 players on A, and Vitality are tentatively walking forward here, which I'm scared about. And already the bullet's firing, and you can see Fabian will pop the flash. It doesn't quite work out. It's a little bit chaotic, and it's one that Vitality come through the other side of, with just Audaz trying to play around the box, and not even him can get one. The ace man himself. So the last 2 come in with 2 sheriffs. This should be a done deal in Vitality to 8.
Keeping some of the ults as well. Sayonara and another run it back. That's one ultimate which can really interrupt that economy, you know?
Yeah.
Just because of the fact that you will see it pop up multiple times in the stretch of one cycle, one typical cycle for some of these bigger ults. But that's where Eternal Fire now find some of their own come online. And I think at this stage in the game, with Vitality recovering it to an 8, if you mess up this next, you know, motion cycle of ultimates, that's then when there's an issue.
Yeah, the ultimate cycle really important now as we get to the last stages of this game. And Eternal Fire are being asked a question. Can you respond in the face of adversity? This is their map pick again, just to remind you. And it's a change of setup as well. That Vice wall going down deep on B long. And with Audaz having the orbital strike, I wonder if that's going to be a combination.
That's the thing, right? These ults just get scarier and scarier the longer the round tends to go. Is he playing through showers? Lens of his operator on the line, but the rest of Vitality are grouped up outside of B still. Trying to play into this Vice setup, trigger some of the utility, make it a little more difficult. They've already cleared the wall from long.
And this is what Vitality can do to you. Death by 1,000 cuts, taking their time. You know the experience that's on this roster, and that dog hasn't seen anything.
Yeah, the near sight of it just not reaching to the depths of B long, where you can see Vitality queuing up. The question remains to be, is this a play through the TP, or do they want the B site? Looks like it is going to be a B here.
Yeah, and also we're starting to see Eternal Fire move bodies towards B through the sky of Fabian. It's a good ultimate from Hookup, but it doesn't get anything. It doesn't get a kill, but finally it does with Echo, and that's coming through. Big ultimate value. So the players go for a TP. You can see Izzy is waiting, but Dirk at the back of sight is bot space.
And Audaz has to buy time. He's the only player here in elbow for now.
Yeah, but Izzy has to retake with an operator and retake with one less body compared to Vitality. That's the important part. Dirk holding on, and Izzy now all alone with a big investment. Decides not to save it. He's taking a step forward, wants to be the hero against Vitality's super team. Try and stop them from getting a chance, one away from the ulti, but I imagine he doesn't want to take that. He wants to fight, goes for it, but gives Profek a chance. So Vitality stay alive for 1 round longer.
Yeah, and it's a sigh of relief from Profek because I think Izzy's totally overcooked that. He's gone for the ult there after the first slide, perhaps not expecting the peak to come in. He's left, he's right, and he's dead now. A real big let-off. 3 rounds in it, and Vitality going from strength to strength.
I mean, if anything, right, if you're Vitality, you can say, listen, we gave it our best on map 1, into map 2, we know exactly what we need to do. Eternal Fire being forced back, only 1 rifle in it, and that is Izzy, who's already found himself in the kill feed. But that rifle lost, and the bodies of Eternal Fire are elsewhere.
Yeah, just Necky here with a Sheriff for now. He's going to try and weather that storm, and does find one on the forehead of Durka. Not going to get any better, though. Good trade, Yumpy. Here's the flank.
Yeah, Profek now has to be the one to deny this. Sees the shoulder, sees the bodies coming his way, and done a whole load of damage. Only 23 points of health himself, but plenty of teammates to help and support. Vitality have done so well to come back into this, and respect has to be given as Echo is doing that and probably waiting for the spike to go off.
Doesn't want to give anything else away. Profek closing in on another orbital strike here. And Eternal Fire had just used a few ults in the previous round as well. Battling through this one. And you start to worry now, where are the win conditions for them? Because it was taking fights before, and when that well dries up, what other layers does this team have for us? And I go back to what I was saying earlier about Necky wanting to establish himself as a caller in the region. That then comes through being able to make those adaptations on the fly. When things get difficult, what is your game plan? Are you actually able to play a different form of Valorant, or is it just more of the same? Profek guards the radius of the spike, so he will inch closer to that next ultimate.
Yeah, 2 away, and you know that Sayonara will also get close with his run it back, only 4 away himself, considering how low the orb count is on that one. But the big aspect to this is the fact that you've got Derka with his overdrive.
Papi will come to him.
And the fact that Kron also has the pit to come off the back of that.
How Vitality's stage has been going so far, you feel like for as much of the distance as they've covered, these last 2 rounds could be real heartbreak, much more difficult to reset into, as this is only the first map in the series so far. Group up in short, Echo strikes first, problems on the horizon, but Sayonara able to react. That's one back for Vitality. But they're just committing to this fully through the orb. Echo still for another, and Sayonara trades it again.
Yeah, but look at this, all alone is Fabian. He needs support through his teammates.
Trying to back up, Molly at his feet. Fabian takes on board a bit of damage, but not enough to fully stop him in his tracks. Playing outside the edge of the pit, Sayonara! That's a dangerous fight to take, but risks that he's willing to make in this situation. Yet another Phoenix ult. Played onto the field, bit of a timing from Fabian here. He has managed to just get inside the pit, and with Izzy denying the ultimate, Fabian's right under their nose. Kron still keeping this one up for the time being, but Eternal Fire in this 2-on-2 with some real potential here if it's not for Profek and Kron. The controllers combine, and that is it. Max regulation is asked of.
A 1-round shootout between Overtime and Eternal Fire win. They still have a bye, that's the saving grace, but it's a Judge and a Spectre in the mix. And not only that, Vitality have some pretty big ultimates here. The overdrive.
Come on, boys! Nice shot, Steffi! Nice, Timo!
And orbital strike perhaps to come out as well. You can feel Vitality starting to get hyped up now, starting to believe that this is doable. 1 round is all it takes.
It's a completely different feeling in the camp. Now a spread default, just waiting. Inviting the pressure from Eternal Fire. Don't you dare make that mistake again, because they have been well and truly punished up until this point. Think back to the Fnatic game, their failure to close out Breeze in the opener. the OTs that we saw that followed, and the whitewash by the end of it. As good as they have looked in spells, if you can't find that killer instinct, it means nothing at this level.
You can feel the pressure building. Eternal Fire have committed so many bodies to the A side. Vitality ready for their execute, and it's just Yampy alone faking out the A side of the map.
Looking at Echo, both shoulders weighed down here. Presence felt towards the long side with Sayonara and the rest already in Garden. Yampy applying even further on A, but he's there for the duel, and the judges found two. Could it really end in this kind of a fashion? The pit popped and Vitality down to their second option. The backup plan. It's all falling apart as they flood out of showers. Fabian there to guard it. So many great moments this game from him so far. And it will finish flawlessly for them. 13-11. Vitality fall at the final hurdle. Beginning of the previous. Are they going to be able to set the tone in the same way?
Yeah, can signs of life from Vitality in that first map be converted into a map win on the second, right? That's the big question we have on the back of our minds. Eternal Fire didn't have the best showing last time. They won't start good either after a quick entry from Chronicle.
Chronicle on this Killjoy is not something that we've seen too many times, but I feel like sometimes you get his best game on Sentinel. Coming into the team to play that role rather than a flex is a big statement in itself, of course. His transfer of the off-season, and as you can see with the opening kill here, they start to scale towards the C site. Ordaz at the back getting caught, as is Neki. Vitality trampling them here as they're on the high road to the pistol.
Yeah, that killer instinct not as dominant here from Eternal Fire. As already Vitality have 5 alive and have responded well. Probably gutted to have been knocked out from that first map, right? The way that it ended, getting caught out by a judge.
So saying, right, sort of a sign of the times perhaps, but things starting to look on the up for Vitality here. Echo walking away with a couple of kills, but nothing that isn't ironed out by the rest. Vitality breaking the ice here on Lotus, their map pick.
Yeah, first round straight back in. Vitality haven't had the best pistol record. We've been seeing that pop up time and time again, but it's nice to add that into their accolades if they can.
Nice,
pistol round wins.
Come on, boys!
Think about it this way. If you change one of those pistol round results in the first map, it would end up being a Vitality win. That's how the crazy thing about it.
Yeah, right. They lost double pistol. They lost a bonus as well. Slow starts was actually one of the big talking points of the last time they played Eternal Fire, the organization rather than the set of players that we see here. But Izzy knows what it means to beat this team, and that's something he'll be looking to inject in the rest of his teammates as well. That belief.
I like this from Vitality, total respect shown to their opponents, not giving them anything, waiting for them to come to them. It seems as if, oh no, there's trouble of brewing.
Yeah, can't tell if this is just part of the mid-round from Yampy, and there's no contact hit. Vitality creeping closer as we cross the minute mark towards this C stack.
Well, there's 4 targets to hit, and Dirka hasn't seen, well, hasn't hit one. He's certainly seen all of them. Oda's still within a corner here. Does this get cleared by Vitality?
Does Ordaz want to actually go looking and see if this space has been left vacant? I think he is considering it, but no, given up in the end.
Yeah, Izzy elsewhere, though, has taken B main. Eternal Fire have all chosen a different lane.
And this is the thing, Vitality completely regressed. Other than Sayonara's position here on A, they're not going to too easily gain access to one of these sites. In saying that, B is now fully open for the taking, and of course that's where they're going to end up.
Yeah, that's a danger site for me, just because of how close quarters it is, right? Those pistols maybe having a little bit more bite to them. The spike will go down. Now Vitality need to hold on, but it is going to be Sayonara straight back in. Kron now having to hold, and yeah, it seems pretty easy in the end. Fabian catches at least one player off guard, but that's all it's going to be. So Vitality, majority of players through.
Okay, one more kill there, and it's a weaker bonus round for Vitality, but looking pretty good for them here. And that's something that I want to touch on as well, this mid-rounding, the calling from Yampy. you're talking about the foundation of this Vitality team as that ex-BBL core, and historically it was a good map for them. Last year, Yumpy won 5 out of 7 times with him at the helm. Proficient at this one. And you think of the ex-Fnatic pieces, Kron, Durka, they know what it means to win on this map. That was the real center of their 2023 run.
Oh, nice shot through the smoke. Echo, no idea, but at least able to find his opposite number here, dropping to backside. Durka! Oh, he's the next one to go. Is Echo's holding this all by himself? Nearly a fourth there. As Yumpy dropped so low.
Brilliant work from Echo in defense of the A site. Neki walks in, trades headshots with Kron, but it's enough for him to walk away with his pulse still beating.
I think any damage from Yumpy here would be good, right? You look at the players' economy on the side of Eternal Fire. 2 players are on 0, 1 on 100. Let's see the damage that Yumpy can even find here. 50 seconds remaining, spike on his back. At least he has that to his advantage.
As you mentioned, the money is in dire straits. It's a Guardian. Yumpy will give it a go. And A is left relatively unguarded, so there is a world where he walks up here and can get the plant. Fabian with the paint shells, though, and such low HP, is what should stop this dead in its tracks. And upon collecting the orb,
I mean, a kill here.
Is this B?
Yeah. Oh, there you go. I thought for a minute if Yumpy could even get a kill before we get spike planted and that night falls online.
Neki's the one, right? He's 5 HP. That's your best chance at a route into that situation, or at least a better outcome. This is great from Echo, though.
And that's exactly what you need. Kron a little bit closer, that would have been a kill, a headshot. 145 tax, it's a bit tough, you know, but hey, listen, you take it. Echo did get the Viper's Pit online off the back of that as well, so got to keep note as he's going to use that early doors, being on C main, and being a lot of bodies from Vitality heading his way.
Oh, he's actually just going to try and entertain that early duel. Durka makes him pay maximum price. C-site fully taken, and Eternal Fire forced into a retake.
Yeah, Eternal Fire are going to have to take a minute here because there's so many players having to get into position for the retake here. Although that spam from Audaz brings things all even now.
Yeah, spam towards default. It does manage to take down Durka, but he doesn't exactly hold a key piece in this post plant. You're looking at Yumpy's ult, the Nightfall, ready to cut across Waterfall. Gonna connect onto a couple of players, and Profek already finding one of them on the flood back through. Fabian falls, as will Izzy. One by one they drop, and now it's only Neki left. Despite the shots he hit in the previous, this one feels a little out the realms of possibility. Does find his opposite number in Yumpy, but Profek finishes off the job, and Vitality get through the first gun round.
Yeah, I think if he's able to find Profek there, then it's game on, but already going to see an early timeout coming through from Eternal Fire. That feels like to me panic buttons being hit just because of Fnatic being in the back of their minds and how much of a dominant win that was.
Played, of course, Durka, the only player left from the 2025 roster. And now coming into this next round, as you say, Izzy with the op-out on C. We saw how detrimental this was yesterday.
Gotta go.
Getting that long line nice and early, and actually embedding Audaz up close with the Stinger. 2 players guarding Sand, and 5 players in spawn for Vitality, just waiting for that instant pressure.
Yeah, playstyle Chronicle will be well aware of, and Profek just waits, grabs Izzy. The reason why I say that is because it's so in line with the way that Gambit used to play, so slow in the uptake, taking their time. And that's why Izzy is too eager to go and take that peek and gets caught off guard.
Vitality out of this timeout, it's just the perfect approach. Weathering exactly what Eternal Fire trying to do, and now into the C execution. Durka's already been good for these entries.
He has, but he's running into a paranoia face first. and Eternal Fire, for the most part, have stopped the execute. Good job, but the problem is that Vitality are heading elsewhere. They're onto the B side through Sayonara. Kron at the back of him, though, gets that trade. Advantage still in Vitality's favour, and now the spike is here. Echo trying to use the Viper's Pit, but it's not going to work out as Vitality embedded within it. And Profex just waiting to get his opposite number, but it doesn't go his way. It's a disaster. Oda's on 1 point of health, trying to save the operator, but Vitality have already done the business. If they can get rid of this op, it's massive damage to the economy.
Odas only has 1 HP to try and live it out, and that will have been relayed back to the rest of Vitality. Dirk is already here, shot through the wall. Doesn't take long for him to finish off the job. And yeah, I have to say that's Vitality then playing into the round a lot better. They bait out that initial wave of utility on the C site hold, stops them from fully committing, timing a little bit off perhaps from Eternal Fire there. And then the rotation back to B feels like the safe option right now.
Branded or what?
It's not very nice.
Seems pretty smart on that last map, I'll be honest.
Yeah, very true. Vitality are the ones playing catch-up at this point in time. But with that operator now transplanted to the hands of Durka, should be more of the same here, really. Just looking for some of that aggression. Here is Durka with the haunt broken, ready to receive a peek.
That's if it comes. Eternal Fire would have learned their mistakes from that last round, and the fact that a few rounds now, Vitality are waiting for Eternal Fire to make the first push.
With this double duelist, though, there comes to a certain point where you need to start taking a few more of those liberties, because Necky's utility belt, especially in this round, won't be enough, and so the walk-up begins. Necky on the other side of the wall, it drops 2 headshots! You've got to be joking! Sayonara fires back, and that should just be the round with a little more comfort here. Chronicle calling the rest of the players over towards the C side of the map, but there are potential weapons to be picked up here if Eternal Fire can get there.
Yeah, but I think Vitality should have the last laugh. They've got so much time to set up a post plan. Chronicle's already gone exploring extra space. Sure, he's on his own, but he should be good for at least 1 pick on an off angle.
Yeah, barring any major slip-ups here, I think Vitality should be comfortable, and actually with Echo finding the operator as well, that's a huge find in this situation. He'll be inclined to save from now on out.
Is he though? And B main?
You would assume so. Feels like the more defensible of position, actually. Door opened up. Echo seeing what he can find here. Eternal Fire getting closer and closer towards the site now. It's ill-advised. Echo stuck on the other side of the door, scoped in. He's gonna actually reverse engineer his own smoke to get out. So the op is safe in the end, but not without just a little bit of that classic aggression.
Yeah, I mean, it's decisions like that that can like win or lose you a game, right? Echo going for that operator if it had been lost. Vitality are hunting though, you can see them all the way in towards defender spawn right now. Not going to find what they're looking for as Echo is home and dry. Yeah. But Vitality, for the most part, up to 5 rounds, and it's similar to how we felt on that first half of Bind.
Oh, man, those shots from Necky on the replay as well. I mean, when I saw it first, you thought it had to be just the first 2 bullets that you can fire. Crazy flake to make the connection onto that second one, but here comes the full buy, double op purchase from Eternal Fire, and when you look at where they've been set up, both of them towards A.
That's an interesting decision, right? Both ops in the same lane. Already a player saw Sayonara low. He's still wanting to fight here. I mean, not long for this world, but still looking for another brawl. The confidence there, and still gets a pick. How has that happened?
Is he really wanted a second player to be able to peek with him there? Felt like it was a bait and switch, but no follow-up from Vitality. It's just a lurk, and they've taken complete control through the middle of the map now.
Echo wants to stand toe-to-toe with his opponents, all on site alone, but it is realistically only going to be Yampy here. Dirka maybe going a step too far and finds one of those other operators that was lying in wait. That's a Nightfall to come through here to try and hide the fact that the door was broken. And a lot of ultimates being thrown in here from the remaining 3 of Eternal Fire.
Yeah, Vitality really split up in this post plant. Also, Sayonara low.
Yeah, it's drawn no from heaven, and he's only able to get 1. That spike is halved, and that's what they're going to try and use to bait
Full
out
stick.
a pick. But how is that? Nobody from Vitality peaked! It's a disaster in the end, and Eternal Fire get their second round when they should have never had a chance.
It was Sayonara on that long wrap, 5 HP from the first fight, and he walks all the way back around through grass. Kron is the second layer coming up in heaven. He gets traded, and behind the Viper wall, I don't know if Vitality just assumed it was a tap, that there wouldn't be a full stick in the face of 3 players. But it's not the first time that Eternal Fire have gotten away with a situation like that.
It's not the first time we've seen Vitality fall to something like that. Boaster last week.
Yeah, the classic Boaster double tap, right? The half and then second full stick.
Toxins going up.
The fact he fall prey to a second time will be lying on the minds of Vitality and looking to make up for it. 4 bodies here for Eternal Fire ready to fight A, but it's only Sayo once again, and he can't make the Outlaw work. So the rest of Vitality look elsewhere. And a smoke is Echo with his judge, but it is only going to be 1. And maybe the floodgates open from now.
Oh, look at this rotation though. Izzy is there first.
Yeah, he is there first, but is he going to give himself away? That's the real question as he sits at the back of sight. Derka's ultimate use, but he's completely gone. No value, and that's what Vitality need. They need value, and it comes through Yamping Chronicle.
Big kills. Time for a lockdown here. Kron gonna waste it instantly.
Enemy remaining.
Oh, but that spike on the ground, and while it might buy Yampy space, does not buy him support. So with 30 seconds remaining, he needs to get the spike down and
left.
fight 2. In terms of utility,
Spike
he's the one at the advantage in terms of information. That Prowler immediately used, so he should know it's from CT. An idea, a jump up, can't hit the shots, can't find it. So Eternal Fire now up to 3.
Yeah, and a lot of ults invested there from Vitality as well. Yampy with the Nightfall, Kron trying to reinforce that space, give a little bit more room for them to play with. Not expecting Eternal Fire to be taking these aggressive duels, but again, that's what their Valorant is built upon. And that's how they get that 3rd round in the door.
Well, we've seen Eternal Fire struggle on the defence. This is the, we think, to bind as well, right? That's the one thing that I'm thinking of. A switch of halves could pay them dividends, but any rounds here could be a massive foundation for that second half, and that's where my mind goes now. Even after such a dominant start from Vitality, that narrative switching with a couple round wins. Vitality now here in C-Mound, and Prophet holding, leading the line. Vitality straight in. Does the spike head towards C? It seems as if Vitality have doubts.
They're pumping the brakes just a little bit after the last round. Eternal Fire were on it like a car bonnet. There was 3 players into C at the click of your fingers. And just assessing the options here, making sure there isn't any form of defensive reclear is smart, because they can't afford to fumble advantages as they did on Bind. It's interesting you were talking about this defender side for Eternal Fire, because I felt like they were super oppressive in the previous game versus BBL. Their defense looking pretty good, built off the back of those pushes, right?
Yeah.
Plus 16 overall in first duels. Vitality have been able to inhibit that a little bit here, and it's rounds like this that prove that point.
But I mean, last time round they weren't able to win a single defensive round. That might be because of the fact they didn't get many opportunities to defend. But you understand the idea. And Fabian, thinking about it, deciding against it, Vitality in post. And you've got Izzy now coming from main. Vitality making no mistakes in this one. In fact, they know where the raise is as well.
Okay. Yeah, a little bit of a body spam. Maybe write it off as a pre-fire. I don't know. Got to send it to VAR. Yeah, second swing. You know, Vitality all in on this push.
Okay.
It's a very disciplined 3 versus 1. In fact, you can actually see Durka has already made it through a lobby to see if Fabian was heading for the hills to save his gun.
It's not anything that he'll find. So Fabian does get to save all the way in spawn. Dirka hasn't decided to go any further forward. And Vitality happy with the result of things. Up to 6, guaranteed to be equal on the next half.
And coming back to something we were talking about at the top of the day, this series has to be the reaction from Vitality, because we've seen this organization, some of these players, face against Fnatic many times, and you know, there's always that response
guys,
afterwards.
Calm down the comms, because it's like hearing 4 XQCs right now. Like, let's calm down.
Dude, go see, dude. You know what I mean?
That was...
It was awful. It was awful. And was a much more of a deficit, so clearly something wrong with what they've seen up until this point. Usually it's when you're getting stomped, right? But there's real priority in making this defense work.
Eternal Fire now. Taking steps forward once again, and Vitality probably expecting that. Paranoia being held off the contact of Izzy. Vitality making inroads towards that B site.
Yeah, it's Fabian with the rifle here, but he's so far back on C that it's not really actionable off of these two players. Already Izzy dropped, and Ordaz does walk away with one. Just tucked into the corner again. Mound is an area which Eternal Fire have consistently tried to play through. A lot of teams building around A lobby, rubble, this kind of area, but a flip of the script from them.
Thatcher dedicating at least one player towards every site here. Is Fabian almost forced out into the open, rifle in hand.
Chronicle not committing to the clear either, just backtracking, could get caught.
Yeah, no rifle in hand for him as he tries to back away. So Eternal Fire now starting to find themselves in a decent enough spot at 3-3 in the player count.
30 seconds left.
And with numbers towards the A site and this toxic screen yet to go up, Eternal Fire really in with a shout here now. Neki only on a classic though, his pistols have been good, we need more.
Yeah, we do. We need loads here from Neki.
Doesn't get cleared.
The Prophet doesn't clear him. It's a massive point here. A swing out and a nade from Fabian wins a thrifty round. And it's rounds like that that make you doubt Vitality.
It absolutely does, and I don't know what words were shared by Afro in the timeout, but Eternal Fire starting to heat back up now. That's 3 rounds from 4 that we've seen. This one, even with the lesser guns, just comes down to the fundamentals, really. Player gets a kill, there's a trade, bit of a slip up there from Kron, and a couple of ones. In fact, there's probably 3 kills here from Vitality in the round, which they really shouldn't be giving away.
Frustration from the coaches of Vitality, and we're straight back in here. Dirk, great entry through tree in towards the A side. Do go Vitality, a switch up of pace and ready to go. But remember, it's Echo once again on the A side. Able to do it last time, but not here, not now. Showstopper in, set up by the Paranoia, still gets a kill, Fabian. So a 2-on-2 is where we settle. Where's Kron away to?
Just walking through on the flank right now. He's the backstab which Yampy has to buy time for.
Yeah, he needs to run away, get out of dodge, because Izzy is on the hunt and found it. But Kron from stairs can't quite make the ascension. So we're within 1 between these two.
Last round.
A difficult snap for Kron to land at the end there, but Vitality looking a little bit sloppy in some of these moments. I mean, even think back to the round before, some of the decision-making individually in the fights that they're taking, allowing Echo to reposition. Fabian takes full control of the main side of the A site hold, and with that, they just work off the back of it. Players in position, crossfires set up, and just more fundamental Valorant.
Shadows traveling.
Eternal Fire waiting, this time not over-peaking like we have seen towards the earlier part of this half. And Vitality once again, rather than that switch of pace, take it nice and slow and wait.
Gotta clear this smoke.
They try to, and this time Ordaz isn't able to get a kill with a shotgun. Is he trying to respect the utility? It's not found. Going for the peek, and does at least catch Prophet.
Yeah.
1 smoke only in, there's not a whole bunch, and now there's bodies here.
Chronicle gonna use the ultimate at the very least. Does he want to fight in front of this? He does! How does he find both? 4v2 now. And it doesn't look like there'll be a single detainee on the Eternal Fire side.
You say that, I think Echo's been detained within his pit, and that's what Dirka's hunting for. But if he does hunt, there's plenty of more Eternal Fire bodies to try and protect him.
And of course, the gun comes back up at the pivotal moment. A crucial turn of the corner as Dirka is going to get out with his life. But 3 more players trying to follow this up, and as he'll hightail out of there, look who's waiting. Necky and Lobby, this is the spike, dropped to the ground as Vitality have had their first half hopes buried here by Eternal Fire.
It's not been the greatest of ends to this first half, but Vitality have looked decent in spells, but they're going to have something special come out here if they're going to finish this and come back in for map 3.
We do need to see something from them, but to hear a little more on the Eternal Fire side, we've got a player feature from Echo and Ordaz.
We couldn't break.
Drop into a danger zone.
Absolutely. I mean, look, we had a 1-on-1 game yesterday between BBL and Giant X in the same group. The ramifications of that apply here. Vitality go down to this Eternal Fire side, not for the first time in the club's history. Can make all the difference for their playoff hopes. The attack scaling quickly towards the A site.
Izzy trying to find anything from this, but Vitality happy to give it up, right? Waiting to play as a 5-on-5 retake.
Spike planted.
Eternal Fire pushing up towards the spawn side here as well. Not a single player in tree. The only residual is Necky from main.
That's going to be a massive component to this round. Should that Viper's wall drop at any moment in time, players managing to escape in towards heaven. That was Izzy, and there's Necky now from main, like we spoke about. But Vitality have a couple back in the conversation, and still the advantage sits with the attack. Sayonara, Dirka completely disconnected from one another, and that will end up in an Eternal Fire round win. Advantage now in that second half.
Fans starting to get behind the Fire as they've managed to bookend the halftime change with a pistol round win, of which they have now found 3 in this series of a possible 4, and this the most important. Big momentum builder on the attack side here of Lotus, and well, we immediately look to that bonus round and wonder how much better can this get?
Yeah, that's the real question, right? 3 rifles, starting to play that old FPX spy that we know and love. Eternal Fire using some of Vitality's tactics, waiting for the peak. It comes through B main, and it's a shooting gallery in the end.
Yeah.
Easy as that. Yampi now to clutch up with just a bandit.
The crowd edging it on. Echo teed up. Oh, got a little bit shaky. It will be an in-zone flawless though. And that's exactly what the doctor ordered for this bonus buy.
Yeah, I think that's what they need, right? Now you're looking at 5 rifles against 5 rifles. This attack of Eternal Fire, Raze and Neon, right on the money when it comes to the meta. Looking very dangerous. The pace that they can set. What do Vitality have for us in this next round?
I need to blow something up.
That's what we're waiting to see. Necky's ult, such a key component, and it just looks like Eternal Fire want to pull a fast one. Heavily telegraphed execute, and you can already see the player moving over. Sayonara there, both anchors, plenty of utility. They've got a brute force.
I'm out of here.
Trying their best. Already they've got the orb up, denying the fast lane. But is there a pivot in here for Eternal Fire?
Face your fear.
Considering the options of the B play, but with the Nightfall in, that's the first sign of full commitment. Vitality have to set up for the retake, but that's not before Chronicles able to find Izzy. A big kill right now.
It's massive. And let's hear how Vitality take on this retake.
Close right and
Watch me, bro.
default. Close right and default.
Paranoia side.
One is 10, one is side.
Okay, paranoia side and go out.
On the box, go. Bro.
Careful 10s.
Tense. One is forward. Bro, he just bounced right.
Yeah, I think that just sums it up. A retake set up perfectly, and then they all just walk in and get completely mowed down.
What a moment from Ordaz. I mean, the transfer on the first to flick around for the second, health bars in the red zone, and now alarm bells truly sounding off as Vitality head closer towards their own danger zone.
It's not looking good at all. Not one bit. Eternal Fire, though, if you're a fan of this team, you must be buzzing with this result, sending yourself towards that top part of the group. An overtime here or there that could have gone their way, and they would have beat Fnatic, right?
Yeah. It could be the 3-0 team at this point in time, and why not? Because when they keep playing like this, who's to say that they can't take on the strongest teams in our region? That authority is out for the taking, the throne empty as far as we're concerned. Kickoff was a little chaotic, but with a full strength side, Eternal Fire are a force to be reckoned with.
Seems to be the case. A loss here against Eternal Fire, and then you play BBL next week to essentially decide your tournament lives if you're Vitality. Oh, a little bit messy there in the end, but double digits are finally found by Eternal Fire.
It's starting to look a little too casual for them in some of these situations. That is unfortunate from Yampi. The timing doesn't get much worse. And yes, this was not the full investment. The follow-up round will be the most important that Vitality play so far in this series, if not for how the rest of this group transpires. It's a game which they have to stay in or things get far too complicated.
A team of the old, that's what Vitality are. Some of the best that we have had, but this is some of the best that we have been yet to see as Eternal Fire. Stage 1, the second stage of the year. That's when we got the full 5. That's when we got what we were promised, and they've lived up to every expectation that we had set of them. Sure, they've lost Echo here, but look at this, able to fight straight back in.
I mean,
stuck between a rock and a hard place is Derka. Sayonara keeping the pulse alive for Vitality, but Neki and Izzy have that A site to themselves. Izzy even taking a step forward.
I mean, Izzy's taken many steps. He's already in spawn, full A site at their disposal. Chronicle has to pull off the 1 versus 2. Now, he's been good at clutches in the past, but we need to see it in these key moments. The weight of expectation in the world on his shoulders. Can he pull it off?
That's the question. Is he low? A body shot would be all it's needed. As Kron does get control of that spike, but Izzy's already wrapping round behind him. And that round is found. Up to 11, the buy broken, and to deny 12, Vitality have nothing.
The natural order is being shattered here as Eternal Fire continue to send shockwaves through the region. Echo enjoying every single moment. I guess we'll have to see. The tools are there for them. The question is, do they have what it takes to keep this one alive any longer?
At least Kron has his lockdown for the retake. Now it seems as if this is going to be straightforward as it comes. Odaz on site. Kron knows about that. He's trying to get away. That lockdown's not even going to be a factor in this round. It's pots and pans for the next one if Vitality cannot win, and it looks like that could be the case. Showstopper in, there goes Sayonara, there perhaps goes Vitality's chances of winning this one. As the players of Eternal Fire manage to escape the onslaught of utility. 5-on-3, Vitality need to fight back, but they cannot find the chance, cannot find the ability, and Eternal Fire are up to 12!
Absolute destruction from the Fire. Vitality sent smouldering from that C-site hold again. Izzy with full confidence in his own ability here. And just look at the high line that they're holding to these players in CT. Lambs to the slaughter.
Yeah, so the last 9 rounds in a row. 9 rounds without Vitality being able to win one. I think that's a statement in itself. So the A fight comes through. The players of Eternal Fire, they mostly have their focus towards the B, the middle section of this map.
So Vitality with a checklist. That first tick in the box has to be break the streak, find your first round, and perhaps your footing in this game. C-Site has been a prominent problem, but Prophet brings a judge to alter that equation.
And already,
just full cleared through the smoke.
Yeah, it's tough. The spam not finding him. Right, he's found him straight away. It's now Eternal Fire look elsewhere. They've created a little bit pocket of pressure
I'm out of here.
that Chronicle is the one set to deal with.
Gotta go.
Honestly, Eternal Fire are feeling untouchable at this point. Yumpy can call the best round that he possibly likes. Lucky not to get caught there. If there's not a stack of players here on A or B, I think it's B. You've got to be worried.
Yeah, the split coming through. Sayonara in the pit, but he has no way to stay alive. No support either. Eternal Fire want to finish it here and now on map 2. There's no map 3 in this one. Chronicle, a 1 versus 4. Lockdown, been sent in, and he's given this a good go. Second player to head his way.
Okay.
Can't connect the shots. This is a clutch on the cards. There's a rifle at his feet, but decides he wants to stick it with the Bulldog. Both players sent his way, but it's still Eternal Fire to win. Vitality, a team of the